28. We've been counting down the 28 days before the presidential election, and now there's 8 days remaining. And while we're focused, we're incredibly laser focused. This is incredible, great news. The president is not. And Wall Street's responding accordingly, down in record numbers, as the president is really off message on stimulus, off message on COVID-19 relief, and simply off message on everything. The poll numbers are against him, the policies against him, so will he wake up? Or will the night after election night something dramatically change? Doesn't matter for us because we're laser focused. We're focused on how much stimulus we're needing, and this is 28. Hey, good morning, everyone. I'm so glad you joined me in a day in which is incredibly windy. So you're going to see wind blowing everywhere. You're going to see light going in and out. I'm here, you're here. And through thick of winter or heat of snow, somewhere it's heat of snow, maybe a Disney movie. I am here for you. So go to the Funds channel, subscribe, because no one's going to go through this mess of a Hot Mess Express better than you and I together. We're an incredible family that I have created on this channel. I call it the Purple Power family, and I'm glad that you're part of this community. Also, like this video. It's helping in the algorithm. Today's videos are ranking number 1 and number 3 already this morning. All right, in this video, I will be going over why the president needs to wake up in these next 8 days. And if he doesn't wake up, we really don't care, because ultimately we're focused on how much stimulus relief you need, how much checks, how much FPUC, how much hazard pay, how much when it comes, where would it come, and how would it formulate. But the president's off message. He's off message on stimulus, he's off message on COVID, and he's off message on unemployment. And now Wall Street's reacting. Down record numbers this morning. This amid crazy remarks overnight by the president, crazy remarks by Mark Meadows, and crazy remarks by Mark Pence about COVID-19, that it's a farce, that's created by the media, that it's much of nothing. This is amid 83,000 new people contracting COVID in the last 2 days, each day over the weekend. All right, let's get to the breaking news. The breaking news is those COVID-19 cases. The COVID-19 cases are not so much the focus of this channel as to health issues, but economic issues. 83,000 people have contracted COVID-19 on the Friday, this last weekend, and another 83,000 on Saturday. This is the highest single reported contraction or infection recorded since the pandemic hit. It breaks the previous record of 73,000 cases per day in the month of July. This is a very deep concern for Wall Street, which is down 400 points this morning because they anticipate 1, lockdowns, 2, they anticipate business closures, 3, they anticipate more unemployment, and they anticipate more evictions. So how and where is the stimulus to address that? There is none. The president, in comments overnight, said that this stimulus, that this indication of rampant COVID-19 cases was fake. That there wasn't 83,000 people contracting COVID-19 overnight, that it's fake. And that ultimately you won't hear about COVID-19 after election night. Wall Street's not happy with that because ultimately businesses will shut down, people will lose their jobs, and not addressing the issue is not a solution. The president overnight said, fake news media conspiracy, we test. Corrupt media conspiracy all the time higher. On November 4th, COVID-19 topic will totally change. It won't, says new analyst reports. It says there could be upwards of hundreds of thousands of new COVID-19 cases per day, not 80,000 if we hit the fall-winter months. If you don't understand how this impacts you, let me go over it right now. If a business is closed, you're going to be unemployed. If you are already on SSDI, SSI, or Social Security or railroad benefits, you may have difficulty getting your food and your groceries because supermarkets may be understaffed. Hazard pay, essential workers will not be paid hazard pay, so they may not stock the shelves for your food. Your cost of living could increase, but the amount of money you make, COLA, may not also increase with you. Also, you're waiting for the stimulus check. You're waiting for the first stimulus check. And will these people give you a stimulus check if you go back onto lockdown? That's the big question. Where we are today is millions of Americans that tune into this channel every single day, which I created on April 24th, and a community which I created as called the Purple Power Community, have stepped up and said, executive orders, Mr. President, do the executive orders, do stimulus relief. What's important, as you understand, as we sit here today, is that there is no path to get legislative stimulus relief in the next 8 days. The Senate will be closed today. The House is already closed. There will be fake narratives you'll hear from Nancy Pelosi and Steve Mnuchin all week long that we're close, we're around the corner, we're nearly close. It's not going to become law between now and next Tuesday. Now, with that, the president should send out executive orders. Millions of people are hungry, Mr. President. Millions of people are desperately in need of stimulus relief, Mr. President. Where are you and what are you doing? Send out the executive orders. The president can do it. The president has the money to do it. And there's a lot of money that could account for a lot of stimulus checks. How much? There's upwards of about $800 billion that could account for a single $5,000 stimulus check. It costs about $300 billion to send out one stimulus check for $2,000. So based upon that calculation, the president could send out a stimulus check of about $5,000 to each American household to deal with the pandemic they've dealt with and to deal with the COVID-19 shutdowns that are coming. Now, ultimately, the president doesn't believe in shutdowns. Ultimately, the president may not believe in COVID-19, but ultimately, he understands that the millions of Americans need stimulus relief. He said in the month of March, April, May, June, July, every month he said he's going to send out a stimulus check. And now, 8 days before the election, do you see the stimulus check? I don't. Where is it? I don't see it. Do you see it? Do you see your enhanced unemployment benefits, FPUC? I don't see it. Do you see your hazard pay? I don't see it. And that's what millions of Americans are wondering. The new polls out today are not good. And the president can't seem to get it clear to himself. The president's on a track of losing in a week from now. The polls across the country show the president down 8 percentage points. It's not even a close race. And in swing states, it's getting even worse. The president is behind in 6 swing states. In Arizona, Biden's leading by 6%. In Florida, Trump is down 5%. In Michigan, Trump is down 7%. In North Carolina, Trump is down 3%. In Pennsylvania, Trump is down 2%. And in Wisconsin, Trump is down 8%. And this is amid the concern that as of the moment of this recording, 45 million Americans have voted already by mail. And those votes are still unaccounted for and are believed to be all predominantly Democratic votes because higher voter turnout always goes for Democratic rather than Republican. The concern is that the president has not understood that it's too little, too late to catch up doing nothing. Whether you are a Republican or Democrat, doesn't matter. This channel is not a partisan channel. This channel is a channel to get you money. And the point is that the way you get money is by executive orders if the president wakes up that he's behind in the polls. There is enough polls out there that they all collectively say he's not just behind, he's very far behind. The point is that with that point of being behind, he has 2 items of attack. 1, a COVID-19 response, and 2, stimulus. Neither has been done, and in the last 24 hours, he's made a mockery of both. On Friday, the president had Steve Mnuchin appear with him in the White House and said, I'm going to blame Nancy Pelosi and go all the way to the election night and blame Nancy Pelosi. That is a risky proposition because ultimately people are deciding who to vote for. And if they don't see the stimulus check in their hand, they may not vote for the president who promised to give it to them in June, July, August, and September. Corrupt media conspiracy at all-time high. Well, media conspiracy doesn't explain why there's been no executive order. Corrupt media conspiracy doesn't explain why there has been no FPUC. Too many countries are seeing exponential increases in cases of COVID, and that's leading to hospitalization, ICU run over. Trump's former commissioner of the FDA, Scott Gottlieb, said this morning, we're at the tipping point of getting this very out of control. We're likely to see a very dense epidemic. Right now, we're at the cusp of what could be exponential spread in parts of this country. What's important to understand is that Wall Street is trying to give the president a wake-up call. If you're new to this channel, one of the things I detail a lot is where you could get your stimulus from. Would you get it by executive order? Would you get it from a new administration? Would you get it from the Senate? Or you get it from the House? For the purpose of executive orders, the wake-up call for the president is a stock market crash, and it's crashing. The stock market's down 388 points to start because of the inability of this president to get out stimulus, and because of the inability of the president to understand that the virus is very serious. On Saturday, Mark Meadows, chief of staff to Donald Trump, said that the U.S. will not deal with getting the pandemic under control, and that 4 members of Mike Pence's staff, including his chief of staff, came down with COVID-19, to which Mike Pence said, you know what, we just sort of deal with it. Big deal. Mike Pence, of course, is the president's head of the COVID-19 release. Julia Emanuel, head of equities and derivatives at BTIG, said at some point there has to be a relief. Steve Mnuchin has given us a fake narrative, and that fake narrative has been, we're still working, we're still working, we're still working. What's important to understand is that there is no path to work. Stimulus relief by legislative action in the next 7 days is not going to happen. So what will happen the day after election night? I'm not going to predict that. I'm not going to sit here and tell you the Senate is going to do this and the White House is going to go here and the House is going to go there. You don't know. I don't know. Certainly Wall Street believes it's going to be a Democratic sweep. They believe the House, Senate, and White House will all go Democratic. Even with that prediction, what's important to understand here in today's recording of 28, even with that prediction, we don't know what that means for stimulus relief. Does that mean that the senators who lost will do nothing for you between now and December? Does that mean that the president will accept the election results and do nothing for you until a court of law, perhaps the Supreme Court, determines the election results? Will he contest the election all the way to the Supreme Court? We don't know. Ultimately, what's important to understand is that there's a motivation on this channel. There's an inspiration and there's a focus. And what I want you to understand is that at the end of this video, I'm going to have a motivational speech, which I need you to stay with me and hear because it's very important. As we get closer to the election, we're going to see a lot more volatility no matter what the outcome is, says a big analyst to CNBC this morning. What we see at the moment is a large bump in volatility. It anticipates that this will continue before the election and after the election. This is amid earnings reports from companies that could ultimately have big lockdown issues. Reporting today is companies like CHED and HCA Healthcare, but tomorrow the big ones. Tomorrow's GE, Ford, UPS, Boeing, they're going to report what would be the impact of another lockdown on those companies. What's important to understand is that the Purple Power, this incredible group of people that I have created for this channel, this incredible following of this channel, millions of viewers every single day or every few days, understand that you're entitled to stimulus checks, understand you're entitled to FPUC, understand you're entitled to hazard pay. The question is how much and when. Now, let me give you this message. The message, this personal message, is the following. It's times like this that strong people stand up and weak people roll over. And I understand that you don't have a stimulus check in your hand. I understand that you don't have a Congress passing a law to send out a stimulus check. And I understand that it may be hard to deal with the daily rigmarole from Nancy and Steve that doesn't show any progress. What I need you to understand is that we're making progress. As a community, we are inspired and motivated. As a community, we're getting to the finish line. As a community, we're demanding bigger stimulus checks because you're owed bigger stimulus checks. You're owed a stimulus check for the month of April. You didn't get it. You're owed one for the month of May. You didn't get it. You're owed one for the month of June. And as we go into the fall lockdowns that are coming across the corner and the winter lockdowns, you're going to be owed stimulus checks for that as well. Are you going to sit back and not do anything, tune off, turn off, and put your feet up and pout because you wanted one stimulus check for 9 months of a period in time in which you were owed 9 months of stimulus checks? If you do, if all you want to do is track one $1,200 check landing in your bank account, or $500 check, or $300 check for a 9-month period or 6-month period where you were owed thousands and thousands of dollars, then you need to reassess, because ultimately people in this country get things because they're pushing. People in this country get things because they're loud. People get things in this country because they're informed and educated. And the reason why this channel has been a success is because I inform people and I motivate them and I get them to be pushy. And that getting to be pushy gets you money. So, in a daily environment in which we are here, I appreciate all the incredible comments I got overnight where people said, thank you for motivating me. If it wasn't for you, I would have given up. It's not the first time I've gotten that comment. Back in May, back in April, when this channel first started, I had countless people telling me I would have given up on EIDL, I would have given up on PPP, I would have given up on PUA had you not motivated me, inspired me. I have countless stories. Kevin Lee, who got $16,000 for unemployment assistance after waiting 4 months. Sharon, one of my mentors, who got, I think it was $25,000 or $50,000 in EIDL loans after waiting months, after being offered a measly $4,000 offer. Battling and battling and battling. I have thousands and thousands, tens of thousands of viewers who got grants, who had waited for the grant, pushed through. I told them how they get the grant, and they finally got the grant. I have 25 to $35 million of people who got money because of my telling them, don't give up, don't roll over, don't lose faith, and don't feel I'm exhausted. Now's not the time to feel exhausted, defeated, anxious, or anxiety. We're a community that loves one another, and that love is more powerful than anything else. And that ultimately, if you see someone in the comments that says, I don't think anything is ever going to happen, you know what? Give that person a thumbs down. If you see someone in the comments that says something like, I don't see anything happening until July of next year, give that person a thumbs down. Because ultimately that person is not the spirit of this channel. Ultimately the spirit of this channel is getting things, pushing for our stuff, getting the things that we're entitled to. And when we sit at these polls and we look at these numbers and we look at what's happening in the Senate and the House and the presidency, we don't know what's going to happen. All we know is how much we're owed. We are human calculators, like Larry Kudlow. So we know exactly how many months it's been since we got our check or didn't get our check. We know exactly how many months we are owed stimulus checks. We know exactly how many weeks we worked as essential worker and how many hours we're entitled to pay for essential workers. We know exactly how many months it's been since we got enhanced unemployment benefits. And that ultimately, if you know that, why would you give up? Why would you roll over? Because ultimately, stimulus is coming your way. There's one thing I can tell you, is that a massive stimulus package will be coming your way. Viewers will tune in and say, not viewers of this channel, but viewers from other channels or other places tune in and say, is a check on the way? No, a check is not on its way today. Is there a law that's passed a check? No, there's no law that's passed a check. Okay, well, I'll check back when there is. Ultimately, if you do that, you could go to the bank, go to the mailbox, and you open the mailbox, and you'll see a $100 check for 10 months of this pandemic, because that's the way Congress wants to treat you. Not this community. This community is not going to allow this. This community is being very loud and very vocal. And with that, it's important to understand, with 8 days before the presidential election, this president may never send an executive order. He may be unaware, uninformed, or unapologetic or unconcerned about your plight into the last 8 days. You see his response to COVID-19. His response to stimulus may be the same. I don't need to send it out. I'm going to win, and if I don't win, then so be it. And that might be his response. And ultimately, we're not going to care, because we will be focused on getting our stimulus, no matter whether it's a President Trump or a President Biden. We're going to get it, and we're going to get it together. Go to the Fronts channel, subscribe, because no one is going to keep you more motivated and more informed and more educated down to the minute. I'm not going to read narratives like Nancy Pelosi said, the deal is coming in 24 hours. The deal is progress. We're making progress. I'm tired of that word, and you're tired of that word. We're going to deal with facts and getting real money in your hands. Also, like this video. Coming up this afternoon to LALATE at 3:30 Pacific Standard Time will be more developments as we watch what Wall Street does through the lack of clarity from this president on stimulus and COVID-19. As always, stay informed, stay smiling, and stay with LA for more.